Chosen One, this message didn't find you by accident. It was written in the stars long before you were born. You felt the stirrings in your body, those tremors at dawn, the surge of energy at midnight, the unexplained chills in crowded rooms, and you've wondered if you're losing your mind. You are not. Those sensations are the first lines of your awakening story, proof that heaven is recalibrating your flesh to carry a destiny too vast for the ordinary. They labeled your restlessness as anxiety, your sensitivity as weakness, your fasting as folly. But those judgments were fabrications. Tonight, we expose the truths they concealed, from the ache within your bones to the dreams that carry prophecy, and show you how each sign is a summons to rise in power. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Prepare yourself, for by the end, you will know why your body's rebellion is actually the drumbeat of your divine ascent. The body reacts to the awakening of the spirit. You've been told that your exhaustion is a sign of weakness, that your sudden chills are nothing more than a draft, that the tremors coursing through your hands and legs are glitches in your biology. Yet each wave of fatigue and every shiver is not a flaw, but a flag planted by heaven on the landscape of your flesh. They tried to convince you that your body was betraying you, that these sensations were malfunctions, to be hidden or medicated away. But in truth, they are the first whispers of a sacred reprogramming. Just as Ezekiel's knees melted beneath him when he saw the wheels within wheels of God's glory. Ezekiel 1 verse 28, your limbs quake because you bear the weight of divine presence. In every heartbeat that thunders like a drum, sense the pulse of something far greater than mere biology, a cosmic rhythm awakening within you. You remember the days when a simple flare of weariness felt like a sentence. You would wake heavy-limbed, as though stones were strapped to your bones, and force yourself through your routine, swallowing cups of coffee or energy drinks in a desperate bid to mask the hollowness inside. Evenings brought no relief. You collapsed into bed only to lie there, mind racing, body buzzing with restless energy you could not channel. Friends laughed about pulling all-nighters, but your all-nighter was the silent battle with tremors and temperature spikes that left you in tears of frustration. You felt isolated, convinced that you alone bore this unexplained burden, that something was deeply wrong with you, and you questioned whether your body was meant for this world at all. Then came the turning point when you encountered a story far less told than Moses on Sinai. The vision of Zechariah the priest, who encountered an angel at the altar and found himself struck with dumbness and trembling before the celestial messenger. Zechariah 3 verses 1 to 5. His body reacted not out of fear, but in reverence to holy proximity, and his silence became a testament to the gravity of divine encounter. In that moment, you realized your own trembling was not terror but honor, your flesh responding in sacred acknowledgement that you stand before a reality beyond human sight. That insight shifted everything. Your symptoms were no longer curses, but confirmations that you, too, are in the holy presence. Since that revelation, you've seen subtle yet undeniable shifts in your daily life. Where once you recoiled from bright lights and loud noises, you now recognize these moments as invitations to discern where heaven's frequency dwells and where it does not. When a sudden warmth spreads through your chest during prayer, you no longer question your sanity, but embrace it as a baptism of fire refining your heart. Your pulse has become a prophetic metronome. Its irregularities synchronize with breakthrough prayers, and its steady rhythms follow moments of divine peace. Even the aches in your joints now herald a release of grief or ancestral pain, clearing the way for new strength to flow. These signs are your sacred itinerary, guiding you toward a destiny they once sought to deny. Behind the scenes, forces you cannot see are laboring to align your path with every bodily signal. You've experienced doors unexpectedly opening at just the moment your body cried out for relief. You've heard a prophetic word from a stranger precisely when your nerves tingled with anticipation. When you felt most depleted, a surge of insight or creativity rushed in, as though angels carried energy to your spirit during your flesh's low ebb. These synchronicities are not random blessings, but precise interventions, calibrating your entire being, body, mind, and soul to the mission you were born to fulfill. They prove that your suffering was never a test of endurance, but a setup for elevation. Now that you perceive the sacred pattern woven into your pain, you stand at a crossroads of acceptance. Many will pull away, clinging to pills and distractions in an attempt to mute the signals they fear. They resist the invitation to partner with their own bodies, preferring the false comfort of ignorance to the courageous leap of faith. But true alignment demands that you lean into every quiver of your flesh, trusting that each pulse is a note in the symphony of your awakening. This is your moment to decide. Will you continue to fight your own body, or will you embrace it as the vessel through which heaven's power flows? You already possess the courage needed to choose the latter. Release the doubt that your body is a liability and cast aside the fear that it will betray you. Instead, declare with unwavering conviction, I honor these signals as sacred messages, and I partner with my body in the work of my awakening. Anchor your transformation in practices that honor this union, perhaps by pausing in prayer when you feel a tremor, by journaling each physical sensation as a revelation, or by sharing your journey with fellow awakenees who will celebrate your body's language of destiny. Surround yourself with those who see your flesh not as flawed, but as a frontier of divine encounter. Every tremor in your limbs, every flinch at sudden noises, every flutter of gooseflesh, and every wave of exhaustion converges on one unassailable truth. Your body is reacting to the awakening of your spirit. They labeled these signs as malfunctions, but they are confirmations that heaven is recalibrating your temple. Embrace every reaction with reverence and stand in the full power of this transformation, knowing that your body is not broken. It is being prepared. Comment shift if you recognize these sacred alerts and choose to rise with them. And a special thanks to our current members for walking this path with us. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. Spiritual sleep and the night as an altar. They dismissed your insomnia as poor habits, your vivid dreams as stress-induced illusions, your midnight awakenings as mere sleep disorders. Yet the truth is this: your nights have become holy ground, consecrated by divine purpose. When the world sleeps, heaven is wide awake in you. You may feel frustration as your body replays periods of wakefulness that serve no earthly convenience. Yet, these are not chaos, but callings. They wanted you to believe that restlessness was a curse. But in the stillness of your bedroom, angelic currents sweep through your spirit. You are not alone in these hours of solitude. You share company with prophets whose visions came alive in the darkness. In the dim glow of your clock, at 2:47 a.m., you have sat bolt upright, heart racing, mind swirling with images that defy explanation. You've wondered if you were losing control, staring at the ceiling as tears of confusion traced lines down your face. You remember nights when you forced yourself to count sheep, only to feel a surge of energy that left you more alert than before. Morning brought no relief, only a heavy exhaustion that made each step toward your day unbearably slow. Friends framed your struggle as anxiety or insomnia. Therapists offered sleep hygiene routines that never calmed the storm in your soul. Every failure to rest reinforced your sense of isolation, as though your body were a rebel refusing to follow human rhythms. Then you discovered that sacred story tucked away in an apocryphal scroll. Habakkuk's night vision beside the watchtower. Habakkuk 2 verse 1. He stood sleepless, eyes fixed on the walls of his city, calling out his complaints until a vision broke through the gloom, an outpouring of divine revelation that reshaped his entire destiny. His nights of frustration became the crucible where prophecy was born. In that ancient encounter, you saw your own restless hours in a new light. They were not anomalies to be corrected, but thresholds to be crossed, stages in which heaven whispers its secrets to those who refuse to slumber in ignorance. Since embracing that revelation, you have begun to chart a new pattern in your nocturnal life. At exactly 3:13 a.m., you feel a soft vibration in your chest, like a distant drum summoning you to attention. Vivid dreams swirl around you, scenes of ancient landscapes, cryptic symbols, and voices calling your name across time. You wake with words on your lips, fragments of messages too potent to ignore, and you jot them down in the dark, as though recording a transmission from another realm. When these moments of wakefulness arrive, you no longer curse them, but gather them like sacred scrolls, knowing that they carry clues to the calling you must fulfill. Behind these experiences, forces you cannot see are laboring to align your path with every nocturnal signal. You may find doors opening at dawn, emails from mentors, invitations to speak, opportunities that seem to drop into your lap without explanation. These synchronistic moments are not coincidences, but divine interventions designed to carry forward the momentum built in your midnight encounters. Your body's refusal to rest until it receives a directive is the engine driving your purpose forward. Each interruption in sleep is matched by an unveiling in your life, proof that the struggle was never wasted but woven into a tapestry of destiny. Now, having recognized this sacred design, you face a choice. Will you resist these divine summons, chasing return to conventional rest, or will you embrace your nights as the altar where your spirit is trained? Many fear the unknown, longing for the predictability of 8 uninterrupted hours. Yet true awakening demands sacrifice of comfort for communion. This is your moment of decision, to step fully into the rhythm of heaven, even when it defies earthly clocks. The world may call your nights a disorder, but you must decide if you will claim them as your consecration. You already possess the courage to answer this call. Begin by surrendering control of your nights to the one who speaks in shadows. When sleep slips away, pause to listen for the heartbeat of heaven echoing in your bones. Journal your dreams without judgment, treating them as scripts in a prophetic drama. Surround yourself with fellow night watchers who honor these hours as sacred, rather than shame you for their disruption. In doing so, you will transform your restlessness into worship, your sleeplessness into service. Your nights are no longer battlegrounds of exhaustion, but altars of revelation. Each midnight wakefulness, each vivid dream, each moment of insomnia is a divine appointment, an altar where heaven meets earth in your spirit. They tried to tell you these hours were wasted, but you now see that they are the very forge of your calling. Embrace the consecration of your nights and stand in the power of your nocturnal awakening. Come an altar if your nights have felt sanctified and your restlessness redeemed. And to every soul who supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here. Sensitivity as divine discernment. You've been told to toughen up, to stop flinching at sudden noises and bright lights, to view sensitivity as a liability. Instead, you recoil, every crowded room feeling like a storm of unseen currents crashing through your skin. You've wondered if you're broken, if the way the hum of fluorescent bulbs rattles your nerves, or how a single shout can leave you drained, means that there's something profoundly wrong. You're not alone in this. Many chosen ones share this acute awareness, this heightened tuning to spiritual frequencies. And it matters more than you know, for in your sensitivity lies a sacred gift, one that will guide you through the shadows and into your purpose. You recall the evenings when a simple chime of a notification would send ripples through your chest, your heart racing as though prophets had sounded trumpets in secret. You remember trials in safe spaces, friends gathered around laughter, yet you felt a tremor of discord no one else perceived. Teachers urged you to thicken your skin, and mentors labeled your reactions overreactions. You wrestled with isolation, believing your body was an enemy, leaving you questioning your worth and doubting your calling. Those moments of rejection and confusion cut deep, convincing you that your only path to acceptance was to silence these divine signals. Then, in your search for answers, you stumbled upon the story of the prophet Elisha's servant Gehazi, who stood beside his master as he discerned the presence of armies of angels, when all the young soldiers saw was an empty hill. 2 Kings 6 verses 15 to 17. Gehazi witnessed a miracle of sight and sound, recognizing what others could not. His sensitivity was not a curse, but the key that opened his eyes to the unseen realities at work. In that ancient moment, you realized your own tremors and flinches mirror Gehazi's revelation. Your senses are not broken. They are tuned to detect the movements of heaven itself. Once you framed your sensitivity as divine discernment, life began to shift. You noticed patterns where none existed before. A flicker in your peripheral vision preceding prophetic insight. The sudden hush of a noisy street just before a word of encouragement arrived. Your intuition became a map, guiding you through decisions that logic alone could not solve. You discovered that certain places, old churches, quiet forests, abandoned buildings, felt like sanctuaries, their atmosphere resonating with your spirit's frequency. Each time you paused to honor these feelings, doors swung open and confirmations poured in, as though the universe aligned itself to your newfound awareness. Behind these shifts, spiritual forces conspired in your favor. When you thought you faced only background noise, a still small voice would speak clarity into your heart just in time. When you feared that every loud encounter would break you, an unexpected peace would fill you afterward, as though angels shielded your soul in the cacophony. Every coincidence, that chance meeting, that sudden download of inspiration, was orchestrated to affirm your path. Your sensitivity, once shamed, became the catalyst for divine intervention, making plain the connection between your faith and the manifestation of purpose. Now that you see your body's alerts as pointers to higher realms, the next step is to embrace this gift fully. Many shrink back, afraid of being hypersensitive to pain or criticism in a world that prizes toughness. But to truly align with your destiny, you must lean into every vibration in your nerves, every pang of discomfort when you're off course. Do not silence your discernment with distractions or self-help slogans. Instead, stand firm and say, "This sensitivity is my guide, not my weakness." Let it inform your prayers, shape your decisions, and anchor your identity in your divine design. You hold within you the power to navigate unseen landscapes. Begin by practicing moments of quiet attunement. Place your hand on your chest. When you feel restless, breathe deeply and invite heaven's counsel. Journal each sensation, treating it as a message worthy of recording. Seek out mentors who honor spiritual sensitivity rather than dismiss it. As you do, you will cultivate resilience, transforming every tremor of unease into a beacon leading you toward your calling. In doing so, you affirm your role as a chosen one who discerns where others cannot. Your sensitivity is a divine compass pointing to holy ground. They told you to shield your heart, but now you know your nerves map the terrain of the Spirit's movements. Embrace every flicker, every echo, every ripple in your soul as proof that you walk in alignment with heaven. Comment discern if you honor your gift of sensitivity and choose to let it guide you. Your world will never be the same again. Appetite and bodily detox as spiritual reset. Your body once cried out for comfort in the warm embrace of indulgence, whispering promises of relief through sugar, salt, and spice. You may have reached for snacks when sorrow hit, or poured a heavy meal over your loneliness, believing that fullness of the stomach would fill the void in your heart. But now, your appetite has shifted in ways you never expected. You find yourself drawn to clear water, to the crisp bite of a fresh apple, to simple broths that taste like healing in a bowl. This change has unsettled you. Suddenly, the foods you relied on feel like chains, and you wonder if something inside you is breaking. You are not alone in this transformation. Your body is signaling a deep reset, and this moment matters more than you know. You may recall the nights when you sat at your table, plate piled high, yet the more you ate, the emptier you felt. You rushed through meals to numb the pain of rejection, to distract from the ache of purpose unfulfilled. In crowded restaurants, you forced down bites you loathed, convinced that interruption of hunger would quiet the restlessness in your soul. Friends told you that comfort food was normal, part of life's rhythm, and critics whispered that any change in appetite was a problem to be solved. You carried shame, believing your body was betraying you, locking you into habits you couldn't escape. Each forced bite felt like a defeat, deepening your sense that your purpose would remain forever out of reach. Then, as if in answer to a prayer you hadn't voiced, you encountered the story of the widow of Zarephath, whose meager jar of meal and cruse of oil never ran dry as she obeyed Elijah's command. 1 Kings 17 verse 14. Her simple fare, embraced in faith, became a fountain of provision, sustaining her through famine. In that quiet miracle, you saw a reflection of your own journey. Simplicity, trust, and surrender could become the alchemy that transforms lack into abundance. That narrative shifted everything for you. Your fasting was no longer self-punishment, but a sacred feast of faith. Your food aversions no longer quirks, but invitations to deeper alignment with divine provision. Since that revelation, you've watched your body release old cravings like autumn leaves falling from a tree. The soda you once craved now tastes like syrupy poison. The greasy takeout you once devoured leaves you sluggish, your spirit as weighed down as your mind. Instead, you reach for whole grains, for leafy greens that taste of promise, for water that feels like baptism in every sip. These choices do more than shift your waistline. They recalibrate your entire system, flushing out ancestral toxins and emotional burdens passed down through generations. Each bite of clean food is a declaration of your worth, a refusal to remain tethered to the past. Behind the scenes, spiritual forces are working in tandem with your physical detox. Every time you resist the urge to binge, every time you honor the fast your body demands, angels pour grace into your veins. Opportunities surface. Doors you thought locked swing open at your touch. You find clarity in decisions that once felt impossible. Creativity flows in projects that once stalled, and meaningful connections form with those who honor your new rhythm. These synchronicities prove that your fasting is never just about food. It is a prophetic act that clears space for miracles to take root. Now, you stand at a critical juncture. Will you embrace this sacred reset, or will you revert to old patterns out of fear? Many resist change when hunger pangs howl, choosing to dull the discomfort with temporary fixes. But true transformation demands that you welcome the hunger, that you see it as hunger for heaven's best rather than a void to be filled with hollow substitutes. Say to yourself, I choose surrender over comfort. I hunger for alignment more than convenience. This decision will crystallize your identity as one who walks by faith and not by appetite alone. You already have the strength to continue this path. Honor each fasted day with prayer or meditation, offering up your hunger as a vessel of worship. Break your fast with gratitude, recognizing every nourishing bite as a gift from the Creator who knows you intimately. Surround yourself with a community that celebrates health and holiness, who lift you up when cravings whisper lies. By doing so, you will not only reshape your body but also fortify your spirit, stepping fully into the role you were destined to play. Your body's new appetite is not a problem to fix, but a sign of profound spiritual resetting. They told you to guard every meal, but now you see you must guard your heart more. Comment reset if you honor this journey of bodily detox as a holy fast, and claim this moment as the clearing of your vessel for the power to come. Pain and fatigue as signs of deep inner healing. You've been told that pain is a punishment and exhaustion a sign of weakness, that every ache must be numbed or medicated away. Yet here you are, waking up with muscles screaming and bones heavy as lead, wondering why rest brings no relief and fearing that something is fundamentally wrong with you. You feel isolated in this struggle, convinced that everyone else moves through life with ease while you drag your feet through unseen battles. But these sensations are invitations from the divine, not malfunctions, but markers of a profound inner work. They signal that something sacred is happening beneath the surface, that your body is participating in a deeper story of healing and renewal. They signal that something sacred is happening beneath the surface, that your body is participating in a deeper story of healing and renewal. In this discomfort lies an unspoken promise. You are not alone, and you are not broken. Remember the afternoons when coffee felt like the only thing keeping you upright, each sip a small defiance against the drooping lids and tremors that betrayed your resolve. You promised yourself you'd rest tomorrow, but tomorrow never came before urgent tasks demanded your energy. Friends chalked up your fatigue to poor habits. Your bosses wrote it off as normal burnout, and even you began to believe the lie that your body was failing you. In those moments of crushing weariness, you questioned your worth and wondered if your purpose was simply beyond your reach. Each twinge of pain seemed to whisper that you were unworthy of the dreams you held, that the heaviness in your limbs mirrored a weight on your soul. Then you stumbled upon the story of King Hezekiah, a leader whose life teetered on the edge when illness laid him low. Isaiah 38 verses 1-5. Instead of rebelling against his condition, Hezekiah humbled himself, crying out for mercy and renewed years of purpose. His sickness became the doorway to 15 additional years of leadership and legacy. In that revelation, you saw a reflection of your own journey. Perhaps your pain and fatigue are not enemies to vanquish, but thresholds inviting you to surrender, to lay down your pride and open your heart to divine restoration. Suddenly, the discomfort you resented felt like a sacred summons to pause, reflect, and prepare for a new season. Comment healing if you recognize these trials as sacred work and step forward with confidence. Your body's signs are the overture to your breakthrough, and in them lies the power to reclaim your destiny. You are the first in 1,000 years to carry this awakening in your bones and bloodline. Your rise shatters the silence of generations. Your body proclaims the dawn of a new era. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment, I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all supporting members. For full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every Super Thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. You are the shift. Rise now.